Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimacung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 3, Section 2 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
As.
Ah.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Author Conan Doyle. Chapter 3, Section 2. And indulge yourself in every way. I could do with much less than that. Wasted. Holmes. Whom I don't wish to be a burden to them. The use of the money just while I am staying with them. Of course. That is only just for the time. Wasted. Every quarter and pays it over to mother. Do pretty well with what are in a typewriting. Jude. You have made your position very clear to me, said Holmes. Is my friend. Doctor. Watson. As before myself. Kindly tell us now all about your connection with Mr. A flush stole over Mr. Dillon's face. Of her jacket. I met him first at the gasfitter's ball, she said. They used to send father tickets when he was alive. Remembered us. And sent them to mother. With us to go. He never did wish us to go anywhere. Kate quite meant if I wanted so much as to join a Sunday school treat. But this time I was set on going. And I would go. Right had he to prevent us to know when all for those friends were to be there, so that I had nothing fit to wear, that I had never so much as taken out of the drawer. At last, when nothing else would do, of the film, but we went, mother and I, with Mr. Hardy. He used to be a foreman. Wasted. I suppose, said Holmes. That was true. Oh. Well. He was very good about it. He laughed. I remember. His shoulders. And said there was no use denying anything to a woman. I see. Then at the gaslighter's ball you met. As I understand. A gentleman called Mr. Yes. So, I met him that night. And he called next day to ask if we had got home all safe. And after that we met in that is to say. Wasted. Holmes. Met him twice for walks. But after that father came back again. Wasted. Well, you know, father didn't like anything of the sort. Wouldn't have any visitors if he could help it. That a woman should be happy in her own family circle. But then, as I used to say to mother, begin with, but how about Mr. Pass my angel. Well, going off to France again in a week. It would be safer and better not to see each other until he had come. We could write in the meantime. And he used to write every day. I took the letters in the morning. Well, yes. Vistia, Holmes. We were engaged after the first walk that we took. Awesome, well. That's the worst of it. Vistia. Holmes. Where did he live? Where did you address your letters? To the Leadenhall Street Post Office. To be left till called for. A lady. So I offered to typewrite them, like he did his. But he wouldn't have that. Seemed to come from me. The machine had come between us. Was of me. Wiste. Holmes. It was most suggestive, said Holmes. Most important. Can you remember any other little things about Mr. A very shy man? Wiste. Holmes. In the evening, then in the daylight. Be conspicuous. Very retiring and gentlemanly he was. Even his voice was gentle. He'd had the quinsy and swollen glands when he was young. And it had left him with a weak throat. And a hesitating, whispering fashion of speech. He was always well dressed. Plain. But his eyes were weak. Just as mine are. What? And what happened when Mr. Windibanked? Your stepfather, Mr. came to the house again and proposed that we should marry before father came back. He was in dreadful earnest and made me swear the testament that whatever happened I would always be true to him. Said he was quite right to make me swear. Sign of his passion. Was even fonder of him than I was. Then, marrying within the week, I began to ask about father. Said never to mind about father, but just to tell him afterwards. Mother said she'd make it all right with him. That. Wiste. Poems. It seemed funny that I should ask his leave, as he was only a few years older than me. Want to do anything on the sly. So I wrote to father at Bordeaux, where the company has its French offices. It missed him. Yes. Though. That was unfortunate. Your wedding was arranged. Then. For the Friday. Yes. So. But very quietly. The estuary. Savez. New King's Cross. Breakfast afterwards at the street. Hanker's Hotel. And some. And stepped himself into a four-wheeler. In the street. We got to the church first. Drove up, we waited for him to step out. But he never did. There. The cabin said that he could not imagine what had become of him. For he had seen him get in with his own eyes. Last Friday. Wiste. Holmes. Very shamefully treated, said Holmes. Oh. No. So. And kind to leave me so. Well. To me that. Whatever happened. I was to be true. Even if something quite unforeseen occurred to separate us. That I was pledged to him. Or later. It seems strange talk for a wedding morning. Most certainly it does. Your own opinion is. Then. Yes. So. He foresaw some danger, or else he would not have talked so. More question. She was angry. And your father? Yes. Seemed to think, with meat, that something had happened. Should hear of Hosmer again. As he said, in bringing me to the doors of the church, and then leaving me. Man, if he had borrowed my money, and got my money settled on him, there might be some reason. Hosmer was very independent about money and never would look at a shilling of mine. And yet, what could have happened? And why could he not write? Well, it drives me half mad to think of it. Began to sob heavily into it. Poems. Poison. Result. Let the weight of the matter rest upon me now. Not let your mind dwell upon it further. Above all, waste it. Ask my angel vanish from your memory. My hands. I advertised for him in last Saturday's Chronicle, said she. Bill. Thou. 31 Lion Place. Waste it. Angel's address you never had. I understand. He travels for Westhouse and Marbank. Thank you. Have made your statement very clearly. You will leave the papers here. Remember the advice which I have given you. Still booked. You are very kind. Waste it. Holmes. Do that. I shall be true to Hosmer. And the vacuous face. Visitor which compelled our respect. Table and went her way. Be sentiment. T'other. His legs stretched out in front of him. Upward to the ceiling. Oily clay pipe, which was to him as a counsellor. And lit it. He leaned back in his chair, spinning up from him, and a look of infinite languor in his face. An interesting study. That maiden, he observed. Her little problem. Widow. By the way, is rather a trite one. You will find parallel cases if you consult my index. In 77, and there was something of the sort at The Hague last year. Old as is the idea, however, which were new to me, which was quite invisible to me, I remarked. Not invisible but unnoticed. Watson, you did not know where to look. Important. I can never bring you to realize the importance of sleeves. Suggestiveness of thumbnails. Or the great issues that may hang from a bootlace. Man, what did you gather from that woman's appearance? Well, a slate net, broad-brimmed straw hat, with the feather of a brickish red. Her jacket was blacked, with black beads sewn up on it, of little black jet ornaments. Her dress was brown, colour, with a little purplish at the neck and sleeves, were greyish and were worn through at the right forefinger. Observe. She had small round, hanging gold earrings, of being fairly well in a vulgar, comfortable. Softly together and chuckled. Upon my word. Watson, you are coming along wonderfully. You have really done very well indeed. Missed everything of importance, which you have hit upon the method. Have a quick eye for colour. Never trust general impressions, my boy, but concentrate yourself upon details. Slave. The trouser. As you observe, this woman had blush upon her sleeves, which is a most useful material for showing traces. Above the wrist, where the typewriter's press is against the table, was beautifully defined the sewing machine of the hand type. Leaves a similar mark, only on the left arm. Then, instead of being right across the broadest part, as this was, I then glanced at her face, and at either side of her nose. Typewriting. But surely it was obvious, and interested on glancing down to observe that wearing were not unlike each other. They were really odd ones. Have a slightly decorated toe cap, and the other a plain one, buttoned only in the 2 lower buttons out of 5. The first, 3rd, and 5th. An young lady, otherwise neatly dressed, has come away from home with odd boots, half-buttoned. And what else? I asked, keenly interested. What? By my friend's incisive reasoning, I noted, in passing, had written a note before leaving home after being fully dressed, that her right glove was torn at the forefinger. See that both glove and finger were stained with violet ink. In a hurry and dipped her pen too deep. Warning. Or the mark would not remain clear upon the finger. Is amusing, though rather elementary. But I must go back to business. Watson, would you mind reading me the advertised description of Mr. The little printed slip to the light. Missing it of the 14th. A gentleman named Husband Angel, about 5 ft, and in height, strongly built, sallow complexion, black hair, little bald in the centre, bushy, black side whiskers and moustache, tinted glasses, slight infirmity of speech, was dressed, when last seen, frock coat faced with silk, black waistcoat, gold over chain, tweed trousers, with brown gaiters over elastic sided boots. To be continued.